Right.
Okay. No, I definitely can't join, but I was just gonna see what this was about.
Okay. Yeah, it's I wanted to figure out a way to invite everybody and to join, but I don't, I can invite them to watch, but I was trying to, like it says, invite people. I wanted to invite like all people who are friends with me on Google Plus, which is a whole lot of people, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. But if anybody, I'm gonna say that if you contact me on, if you want to contact me on Facebook or something, or Google Plus, I'll try to let you join. But today, folks, here we are, top of the hour, 4 o'clock Central Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to try to make it 30 minutes, and it's about 10 years of video reviewing, a retrospective. I talked about doing this for a few months, and people said, yeah, they thought it would be interesting. I know other people are thinking, interesting, that'd be the most boring thing in the world. Who would want to watch it? I can understand if you don't want to watch it. So you got to take, we understand everything is not for everybody. I make history videos sometimes and people can't stand those, and I make beer reviews and some people can't stand those. Okay, but anyway, John, you can watch if you want to hang out and talk if you want it. If you can't do it, you can't do it.
I'm gonna watch.
All right.
But I'm gonna make a video with you soon. I just gotta talk to you about what. And
okay.
I'm gonna view this, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
So long. See you later. You have a good evening. Okay. So Jonathan said, what is this about? All right. Now, give you a little background. I wanted to do the video, and then people like John Sharon said, I think that would be a good video. It'd be interesting. And other people said that too. And I said, I don't know, because if you talk about it and then people will say it, you're attacking me, they'll get offended. When really, you're just reviewing 10 years of video reviewing. It's not attacking anybody. In fact, I guess the lighting is too bright. All right. Yeah, it's 94 degrees outside, probably hotter than that. I was going to drink a stout, but after walking in that heat, I said, nah, I'm going to drink this Tecate Lager. And then I'll get water later. Okay, so I was not aware until 6 years ago, summer of 2010, that there was such a thing as video beer reviewing. For years, I had done written reviews, a year or two, but I had read written reviews for years and years, since maybe 1999 or 2000. And I just thought that's the way it was. People would write reviews. Colorado Rockies. Okay, I'll take it off. So one day, when I was still teaching school, you'll be off all summer, and I didn't usually work in the summer. So I was saying, I wonder if anyone ever thought about doing a YouTube video review. That would be an interesting idea. So I typed something in. I just picked a beer, I think Schlitz, and I typed it in. Oh, sure enough, there was a couple. Well, as it turns out, there were a whole lot of video beer reviews, and there were a whole lot, or a good number, of people that regularly did video beer reviews. So I said, oh, this is very interesting. And so I started watching them and then commenting. You had to make a YouTube account to comment. I didn't really have a YouTube account before that. I would just watch. You could watch. And I really had no interest in commenting on anything. But then I set that up, which is very easy to do. And so I made comments. I was always interested in commenting because I said, well, no one in my personal life gives a hoot about beer styles or tasting beer or any of that stuff. I mean, they drink it a lot more than I do. I tell people I drink 22 a week. I got people in my family that they would be insulted by that number. They would say that is so low. Okay, but their interest is the drinking, not the studying of it, the hobby aspect. So I said, oh, this is a good chance. So I started watching. And then I did some research last year, year before, and I was trying to find the oldest video reviews, and it went back to 2006. So in 2006, there were a few video reviewers, and I don't think any of those still do it. And their equipment was very antiquated, and the resolution was like 240. None of this 1080 3D and all of that you have today, which I never set my videos to that height when I'm watching them, because I just want to hear about the beer. I don't need to see like beautiful video production, although it's nice, but I don't need to see it. And a lot of times I'll do other things while I'm playing their video reviews. I'll listen to it more than watch it. I use them more as a radio broadcast, actually. I mean, I'll look to see what the beer looks like. Yep, that's what Guinness Foreign Extra Stout looks like. But to me, it's more of a radio thing. That's always been the case now for 6 years, just listening to it. And then I'll comment. I tried that. And my comments, if you've noticed, aren't very elaborate. Usually it's like, oh, I tried that beer. It was really good. I'm just not a elaborate commentator. All right. Or I'll say I tried it. It was terrible to me. And then if they'll ask, I'll give reasons. Okay. So I noticed early on that who were the first. Now there was a guy, I think his name was Paul Lemansky. He was a writer. And then he started doing video reviews, and he was very, very good, like super detailed. He knew what he was talking about. His equipment was poor, so you could barely hear him. Very poor audio, and you have to turn up your speaker all the way and try to listen. I'll say, okay. And then he was writing in his blog. He said, I'm giving it up because I'm having trouble with weight and drinking too much, whatever. I was disappointed. But you got to do what you got to do. Okay, and I can't remember if that was his name. It was something like that. I think he called it beer porn or something. Beer porn, something. I could be wrong. And there were a few others. So then I know, but when I started looking in 2010, I noticed they had Chad's 9976. He was very prominent. There was the video beer reviews in Atlanta with Mark. He would do those interesting tall can reviews, you know, with Andre the Giant mug. And he would talk about cutting his grass and digging a trench to drain water away from the house. So he wasn't always just doing beer. And I kind of do that too. People will criticize me or ridicule me. And I don't get mad, but, you know, they say, oh, you're talking about the weather. You're talking about something. Okay, something else. Or food. You want to talk about sausage all the time. Okay, we had Bitter Poet Madman. Oh, I was really fascinated by his. His was so engaging, and there was Jay's beer reviews, and who else? Who was the early guys? J.J. Davitt. You know, the guy that would say, let me see the smoke. Ooh, you know, I used to love that. And so I was watching these guys, you know, and there was Earl Harlock from Canada. And I noticed, and there were some other Canadian guys. Some were hard to figure out, like, were they doing beer reviews or were there something else to it? But I noticed over the years, now over 10 years, there has been a very large predominance of Canadian beer reviewers on a per capita basis. Like Canada's population is smaller than California, but I'll be could be assured there's so many more coming from Canada than California. It's just beer is a big thing up there, I think. And then we had Matthew, we had Nick, Maxwell Starr. That was very good, very good. He didn't do it. He doesn't really do them anymore. We had Beer Expedition, I believe it was called. He lived somewhere by an airport in Southern California because you could hear the planes. It was so loud. His were very good, real mellow. There was a guy in Florida. I think it was called Mixed Cat. I used to like those, Mixed Cat. And then there was Beards and Beer. That guy, I think his name was Matt. He did some interesting videos. I know I'm forgetting people. So that was sort of like the first wave of it. And I commented, oftentimes never got a response. Oh, I'm thinking of another one. Remember, he would be at a business sometimes. What was it called? The Kevin Burns, I think his name was. His were very interesting. And then they had some other guys, those two guys in Virginia, I think by Virginia Beach. They were like they used to talk kind of like Sean Penn in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You know, they would kind of talk like that, but I don't think they were doing it to be cute. I think that's actually how they talked. They're like, oh yeah, man, this beer's really good, you know. And they didn't last. So then you had the second wave. Now I was thinking, I'd like to do this, but I didn't have a camera and I wasn't looking to spend the money. But then I finally said, oh, okay, I'll buy this Kodak camera. You know, Kodak film company, camera company. That was a big mistake, because in 2010, Kodak was on their knees, you know, on their last legs. And the camera was very bad. If you watch my first 3 years, the camera's quality is bad, and it kept getting worse. People would say, you got to fix your white balance. I said, there's no way to fix it on this crummy camera. The definition was good, but the color was always bad, and the volume was horrible, and you just couldn't set it right. One day, thankfully, it just broke, but not even cut on. And you had to charge the battery very, you know, like in an old manual way. So I went out and bought this Sony camera that I'm using, not right now, but when I do the videos, and then I upload them to the computer. But that Sony Handycam, oh, that thing is so convenient, and the quality is so much better. The only problem is my little playback part of it, where you can watch yourself, that broke. It's too much opening and closing, you see. I guess it crimped the wires after like a year. You know, most people don't make videos every day. They buy these handy cams and make videos on their vacation, and they use their cell phones for everything else, but the quality there is usually not so good. So that's been a big bonus, that Sony Handycam. All right, so well, the early years, 2006, 7, 8, 9, and then into 2010, usually your video quality for most of these people is low definition, sound quality shaky, but the content was usually pretty good. I thought most of them knew what they were doing. You know, they studied, they would talk about the history of the company, the beer, I would say, boy, they know so much. The second wave came in, and that was Greg's beer reviews. These are people that kind of came in 2010. Greg's beer reviews, and there was Keith's beer reviews. He was always very friendly, engaging. He would talk to you. Some of these other guys, I don't want to name names, but they just will not talk. And if they did comment to you, you would be sorry that they did. Which used to, this is one of my gripes over the last, well, in my case, 6 years of watching and then doing videos of this. I don't have to answer your comments. That's true, you don't have to. But I don't know why you wouldn't. Now, so my idea was you always answer comments, you be polite. I mean, you don't answer troll comments when people will comment to me like, hey, you homo, why don't you kill yourself? Well, obviously, you just delete those. But if 99% of the time it's a good comment, oh, do you think this beer could be found in my area? I would say, I'm not sure, but there's a locator tool on their website. You might be able to use that, something like that. Now, some of these video reviewers, I would ask them questions, but they were very testy. Maxwell Starr, he was very friendly, like always make a good comment. Others who I won't name wouldn't respond. Some would, like I say, and you were sorry that they did. Like I say, hey, person, what about this type of beer? What exactly is this type of beer? And then I would get a response, Google. Okay, well, you don't even do videos anymore. But real nasty attitude, kind of prickly, and spend a lot of time fighting with the viewers, really, arguing with them. But get into verbal warfare, really. I didn't think that was too positive. And then that person's comments on other video reviewers was usually kind of nasty. I remember one young lady, she was before me, but she was doing videos, and she said, I always notice your comments are, not me, this guy I'm talking about, I notice your comments are always so negative. Just saying. She dropped off. Haven't been a lot of women reviewers. There were many that came in and they were going to do all these things, and that's men too. You've noticed over the 10 years they're going to do all these things. They've got graphics, an intro song, and they all say, I'm going to do this many beers every week, and we're going to do this, and I've got a website, and you can click and subscribe and like and comment and buy this merchandise and all this. And then you say, wow, they're going to do all these things. And then in a few months, they disappear. You never see them again. And that was the case with many of the women and many men, but many, especially I noticed women like Maria Devine. She got on and she stuck with it. She never was overdone, though. She didn't do all the big time graphics and, oh, I'm going to, and then announce all these great goals that are going to be accomplished. And she didn't care if she got subscribers. She didn't care if you bought a t-shirt. She didn't care if you know what I mean, if you watched or didn't watch. She wanted you to watch. She would appreciate it, and she would give you a nice comment. So that's why she's still around, I think, over 3 years later, or about 3 years later, which in the beer reviewing world seems to be a long time, because she had a pace that was, I'm going to do video reviews when I feel like it. Sometimes she'd do the wacky videos. She said she kind of going to stop doing that because it would always lose subscribers. Now, I don't ever unsubscribe for those kind of reasons. If people do wacky videos, maybe I won't watch them, or they'll do some video about, here's my baby swimming in the pool. I don't unsubscribe to them. I just might say, I'm not going to watch it. I mean, it's a very good family thing, but you can't know everybody and be involved in their life. So vlogs, video, life vlogs, I don't really watch. It's nice that you are going on a vacation to Utah, but I'm not necessarily interested in it. But I'm not going to unsubscribe to your channel because you've done 20 videos about your Utah trip. I can just scroll past them. It's not hard to do. So I'm subscribed to about everybody. Okay, in my way of doing it, I'm subscribed to everybody. You make video beer reviews, I'm subscribed to you, except for that one guy in Saskatchewan who I just cannot stand to watch, because they're very long videos, and in an 18-minute video, there might be 2 minutes of the beer. The rest is snarky comments and things that make no sense to me. I mean, if you like it, fine. Now, do I go around and put thumbs down on? No, I've never done that. If I don't like a video, I just don't watch it, or I'll turn it off. I don't say, I'm going to put a thumbs down. I'll show you. I'll get you. No, sorry. That's not my gig. So if you ever see a lot of thumbs down, you know where it's not coming from, me. Because now I'll do a thumbs up. Especially if I see thumbs down on somebody that I know does good videos, and somebody's just giving them a hard time. I'll give them thumbs up because I say somebody's being a jerk, is a horrible person, has a bad attitude. And I know it makes a lot of people feel so bad. So in that case, I'll put that thumbs up. But usually I don't put thumb up or down. Never down. Never put down. But usually just not up. I just watch it, make a comment, go on to something else. Okay, so then we had the second wave. Like I say, Greg, who I have commented many times, hadn't necessarily gotten terrific responses, or in many cases any response, but he is a friend of mine on Facebook, so nominally it's not like we're hanging out. Of course, you think about that, most of your friends on Facebook, you don't really know them and you don't really hang out with them. But it's fine, you're connected. Maybe they showed a photo of macaroni and ham and you put a like, and then you showed a picture of a baseball card that you own and they put a like. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so it doesn't have to be that serious. All right, Greg and Keith, who I just was so, I was so disappointed when he had got the health problems and he dropped out. Couldn't help it. He wasn't trying to achieve these great things. He was just doing video reviews and he did a great job and he got ill. Couldn't keep it up. Second wave, I guess Beer Whisperer. He doesn't really do formal reviews, but he talks about the beers. He doesn't give a score. And I've commented on his videos for years. Dave, Dr. Dave, yes, he was part, like around my time, like the second wave. He stayed at it. He's gotten a lot into the commentary, rant and raves. He said he's dialed back the profanity in the rant and raves. He just didn't see that was really that productive. I agreed. But always commenting on his videos, and he would almost always give a response, and usually very pleasant. He said sometimes like a comment won't show up for a year. Like he'll say, I don't know why I didn't get this comment for a year. And I don't know that why that is the case either, because it should be instant, but he said sometimes it's not. All right, now Tidwell, Taste Tour, they were sort of the second wave. Oh, one of the early waves was the Amasofats, which some people criticize, say they're drunk, they're not serious. Well, they were having a good time and they seemed very friendly, and okay, so they would say they liked the beer, they didn't like it. If you like it, buy us the beer. I always liked that. I didn't see like it was so important that it had to be so serious. It wasn't just total stupidity. They pretty much gave it up. They haven't formally given it up, but there's really no content, more or less. And that's the case with some of even the first wave. They never formally said, I'm stopping. I remember Mark Starr, the Hoppery, he said, I'm going to give it up. He did. He never came back. But a lot of them just fade away, just go. They're just gone one day. You don't notice it, but after a year, you think, I haven't seen a video from this person in a while. You'll check. They haven't done one since 2013. They gave it up. Proper Hops was one of the second wave. All these big plans, but then nothing happened, and it disappeared. Terry K, second wave. Lots of videos, and then it faded. Urban Viking gave it up. Danny, Sofa King, drunk. He was the Sofa King, king of the sofa. Let's say he gave it up pretty much. Swilling still at it from time to time. Jez, he does them from time to time. Those are down in Australia. Jen Riel Trail. Stewart, well, he's in some ways, I believe, maybe the first wave. He's stuck with it, boy. Pleasant guy to talk to. We used to do so many hangouts together, but the time situation, there's a 6-hour time difference, and it's such a headache that you just don't do it. You just don't, because it's too much of a pain. Like the Australian guys, we would do hangouts all the time if we could, but it's a 24-hour difference. It's almost impossible. You just can't set it up. It's too inconvenient. In America, it's a problem. Got people in New York, and we're trying to coordinate with people in San Francisco, and it can be impossible, really, almost impossible. So I know I'm forgetting second wave people. And I'm sorry about that. I can't think of everything. I can think of some that I just didn't care for. Either they was too silly, and I mean, I put silliness on my videos, you know that, but it's too silly. There was no focus on the beer. It was just crazy. I remember in the second wave, there were these guys in California who used to do cooking. They had this doctor, PhD or something, and he would do cooking in the middle of the video. It was very interesting. Beer pairings, and then they would go back to those guys there, and I think it was called New Beer Thursday, but they just dropped out, gone. I know another group from the first wave was these two guys somewhere in the Chicago area, I believe. They were very comical. They did a lot of graphics, and the editing was very sharp. They would oftentimes eat food with they said, we're going to do there was a heavy set guy and like a thin guy. Sort of like Laurel and Hardy. And then they would say, we're going to try this cheese dip with these fries. And they would eat it and drink the beer. And it was fascinating videos. I can't remember the name. You might know. They were funny. They were comical. But they did focus on the beer. but they just were gone in one day. Gone, 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 never seen again. I think the channel's not even in existence. So then you had the second wave. You know, you had Don, myself, Don Rig, and so many others. Then the third wave, we've got, you know, oh, and I guess, let's see, Jeff Lyons, New England Beer Reviews. He was maybe in between the first and the second wave. He's sort of in between those, maybe, because I know he started on Daily Motion and then brought it into YouTube. So I don't know what year he started. And he does videos fairly regularly, not constantly, but regularly. He's still at it. Definitely still at it. And I comment, and he's always going to comment. He'll always give a good response, and he'll comment on my videos. A lot of video reviewers will tell me, I never watch other people's videos, ever. But I can't understand that. Never watch anybody else's videos. But I understand, let me say this. I understand it, I just don't maybe like it or whatever, because, but that, I don't tell people what to do with their channels, you understand? Because some people, their focus is marketing. It's building subscriber base, having the most subs of anybody on the planet in the beer world, and selling the t-shirts and selling the BB Barfly and making the money. So I understand that, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. And you're going to pay the sub service. You pay that service, and they're going to pull a crowd. They'll pull a crowd. And that's okay if you want to pull a crowd. I don't oppose it. Got a little problem about it when you brag on it, though. When you brag about how many subscribers you have, and I know that you bought them, that's a problem to me if you're buying subs and you're bragging on it. If you're buying them, that's fine. But if you're bragging on it, I don't know about that. Maybe that's, I got a little philosophical, ethical issue with it. Oh, well, I'm not doing it. Then we had Simon, a real ale guy. I believe he was at the second wave around my time. He's still at it, hard at it. Greg's still hard at it. Beer Geek Nation, you know, the premier guy, he's still at it. Chad used to criticize him, say all he ever does is review the most gourmet beers. Of course, they're all going to be A's, A+. It's his prerogative. He can review all the best if he wants. Some people review only the worst. I try to cover all the bases. That's just my thing. Oh, you could go on forever. Tidwell, Taste Tour, they do good videos. Don't ever respond. I gave up many years ago trying to ever get a response. Not to say that if I get blown off, it like crushes my spirit and I'm so hurt. But it would be nice, you know, to get a response. Just some people, that's not their operation. You can watch, you won't get a response. So we could go on and on. I mean, it's been 10 years. It's been interesting. Been 6 years almost for me, going on 6 years. It's been a good start. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. It's a good start, kind of in the early stages. You say, oh, but you might stop tomorrow. That's true. I could die tomorrow. Could get sick. Never do it again. Don't plan on it. Don't plan to stop. But you don't know the future. We don't want to get into metaphysics right now. But anyway, it's been an interesting 6 years of watching the video reviews. It's been an extremely interesting 6 years of interacting with the beer reviewers, many of whom I'm friends with on Google Plus and Facebook. We talk constantly, usually about beer, but sometimes about hard liquor and wine and politics and weather or whatever you could think of. But usually it's beer. I mean, that's that's what we have in common. Sometimes it's food, sports, but beer is what kind of brought us together. Now, some of the people, they were my friends, and then they unfriended me, whatever. And some people are prickly, like, you know, like, oh, you like this candidate, I can't be your friend, or something. I don't know. I don't do that personally. I don't do it. other people told me, like Earl Harlock said, you can't, that's a dream. You're not going to, it's not going to be this big happy world. Oh, and I'm forgetting Albino Rhino. Oh my goodness. He was in the, like in between the first and second wave. Great product. Been doing it. He's still churning them out. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that in a positive way. One of the biggies of the beer world, believe me, you know that. And I'm forgetting all these English people, you know, all the English people. Now we go to the third wave, and we got Craig Samuels and Keone and Tanya. We got Thomas Meadow. He's in between second and third wave. Jeff Brister, who's got more into the chugging and drinking videos, and those are entertaining, I guess. We've got all the English guys, many of them who have faded away. Many of the English people have faded away. Scottish, faded away, faded away, faded away, just like the Americans. Here today, gone tomorrow. But we've got Craig and Wobbly Jubbly, and the newer guys, and they do a good job, and they're pretty friendly. Like if I comment, they'll give a good response. And we've got the guy who wears the ski mask. I guess he works for Special Air Service or something. He can't be on video, but he does some pretty good product, and he'll say right off the bat, I hate ales, can't stand ales, but I'll review lagers all day. Well, that's just what he likes. So he's very thoughtful. You know, he's very thoughtful when he's doing these travel tales down in Australia. He talks a lot about travel. Oh, and he's a wild guy. He's a wild fella. Love his short videos. Wish I could make them that short, but I just can't. Can't do it. Got too much to say. People are going, I don't want to hear what you got to say. I understand that. I understand that. But I like the long videos myself. Not too long, you know, like 25 minutes. But I do like the long, kind of drawn out, you're thinking about each aspect of the beer. I do like that. And I know I'm leaving a lot of people out. And if I am, I apologize. But the whole point is we've got the 10 years in. We've had some really good quality videos to a large extent. We've had some horrendous ones. You know I'm talking about, this horrible. Most of them have faded off, thankfully. We've had the ugly, the mean-spirited ones. Got an axe to grind. They mad all the time. If they only cuss you out when you comment, then you caught a lucky break, okay? We've got the ones that are worse. They won't respond at all. We know about that. I'd rather them curse me than not respond at all. It's worse. And they just show you no regard. We've had our video wars. Some of the people I'm friends with now, they were my enemies before, and then friends again, then enemies. Not by my choice, but maybe I aggravate people without trying. Maybe it's a talent or an affliction. You do have those video wars. You've seen it. We had the great Real Ale Guide war and Urban Viking, and he did the rap video, and he was so angry, and the beers were stolen, and they had all of that. And then there was the big, oh, well, you know, all the flare-ups. Maybe you, I'm oftentimes part of the drama as far as being a subject of it, but I try not to be in the drama. Although I'm watching it, you know, I'll be watching it. Oh, this is about me. But to me, it's more comical than anything. Some people will tell me, I bet you were so upset. I said I wasn't upset. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny. Now, I know some people will say that when they're trying to cover that they were upset. Oh, it was funny. I laughed so much. But really, they were angry. But no, in my case, literally, I was laughing. It was very funny. Don't want to forget about Ethan's beer reviews. And whatever glass you may desire. He kind of gave it up, I think. I don't see much from him anymore. Don't see it. And I know it. When I say somebody gave it up, it's got to be true, because I don't unsubscribe to anybody, except for the ones that are just horrible. I mean, their videos, they're never about beer. It's never about beer. I mean, I could watch HBO if I wanted to see sex jokes. I'm not subscribed to HBO, but I could watch that if I want. You know, I'm not into all of that. I'm not into that. I don't care. I don't care. It's not funny. I'm not into jokes about genitalia. You might be. I'm not. But whatever. You say, well, you're not the most erudite person. You're not at the most high level. Well, that's certainly true. Certainly that's true, but I'm not in the gutter either. I'm not in the slum of the beer world. I don't want to forget Jean-Pierre. He does some really mellow and chill videos. I'll tell you what, that guy is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, personally or on video. Maria, Keone, Eric Anderson. Well, Eric Anderson only appears with us. Tanya, my little gang, you know, that I hang out with. John Sharon, and Beer Cub, of course, and Michelle Stitches, and all the rest of the gang. That a lot of them don't appear anymore. They just got other things to do, or they said, some of them told me their equipment broke. They couldn't afford more. And I'm not here to tell you what you need to afford. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But I got to say, I've met some of the nicest people in the world. Friendly, nice. We don't agree on politics necessarily. Or oh yeah, and Lee Poznansky, he does videos. I like to talk to him. He doesn't do too many anymore. He's very busy, I think. But I've met some of the nicest people. I've done visits. My True Review, remember them down in Florida? They don't do really too much anymore. Occasionally they'll record a bunch of videos, and they'll put a bunch out, like 10 in one day, and then you won't see them for 6 months. I think that's kind of dying out. I never loved their content. It was a lot of off-colored humor, and I would always say, get to the video, get to the beer, get to the beer, but they wouldn't. It was more like a barroom crazy time with them. But personally, great guys. I drove to Florida. We met up. They came here to New Orleans, and we hung out for 3 days. Great guys. I don't have to love their content. Just great guys to hang out with. John Sharon with Zone 1, great guy to hang out with personally. Maria, had a great time visiting her. And others. And I might be meeting up with some more people, because that's the fun part about it, really, I'll tell you. So anyway, enough of this. It's been on for over 30 minutes. Did I cover everything? Didn't even get started. We can't go on forever. It's been 10 years. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? Who's to say? We don't know. What the technology is going to change so much. Will there even be this platform? Will there even be this, people watching videos? Who knows? I don't know. In 1996, did anybody think that what we're seeing was going to come about in 2005 with all the video? I don't know. I didn't think about it. I didn't think it would happen. So there we are. Be interested in your comments. Would have been nice to have people joining me, but you know, it's the middle of the day. I'm off today, but a lot of people are at work. They can't do it. All right. So thank you for watching this, if you did. And it's been a fun 6 years for me doing the videos. Been a fun 10 years reading the written, and then written reviews, and then starting to watch the video reviews. And like, once again, if I didn't mention you, it's because my brain gets addled sometimes. You know, I just can't think of everybody. And I'm sure I left people out that I just adore, you know, their videos. So thank you.